Greetings, Vibe Star Media 75 fans. This is Robert Frost Jr. coming to you today, and I will be reading to you from my book, Ether, Robert Frost, and I will be reading page 6, Pool of Reflection. Uh, I thought this would be an ideal time to read this poem because we are transcending from one cycle into another to the next. And this, to me, is a time to reflect over uh, the failures, the accomplishments uh, during the years, during the year from 25 going into 26, reflecting on my accomplishments, uh, reflecting on my defeats, reflecting on my progress as an individual, reflecting on the family structure, my family structure, uh, and reflecting on many things. So, if you have the book Ether, please join along with me as I begin to read from page 6 of this book of mine. And the chapter is called Pool of Reflection. And we will begin reading at page, at verse 1. Once upon a time, while visiting the forest, I lost my way deep inside the forest. I saw a pool that reflected the sunlight of day. As I drew nigh, countless images appeared in the waters. The images were upside down, or was I right side up? This paradox left me in a state of bewilderment, somewhat out of touch. At first glance, what I saw seemed quite real. Looking deeper still, the wheel of time manifests the real deal. Illusion and reality so intertwined. Where do we draw the line? As we exit and enter the city of nine gates, the minute I see myself is the minute I receive the answer to all of my questions. Uh, when I wrote this poem, I was internalizing uh, my journey as a conscious being, spirit, soul, from the spiritual realm to the material realm, to material nature. And the forest is a metaphor for this world, for this life. It is a saying some people only see the forest, but never the trees. Or some people only see the trees and never the forest, excuse me. Some people only see the trees, but never the forest. There's so much life, so much to experience when you go into nature. Uh, some encounters are readily manifest before you in your physical sight, in your visual sight. Uh, Some encounters are not seen with sight perception. Some voices or noise or vibrations are loud. Some pictures are very sharp. In the forest, you see all type of life. You see animal life, you see plant life, you see mineral life. You see all type of life. When I go into the forest, uh, transcendental calm of peace comes upon me. I don't know how the next person's experience is. I can only speak from my perspective. The forest causes me to relax. It brings me to a state of relaxation. And I find myself being able to meditate, to ponder, to think and reflect. I love being in nature. I love the forest. This life is somewhat like a forest. We encounter all type of life in this world. Some life is pleasant, some life is not so pleasant. Some beings that we encounter bring up joy, happiness to you. And some beings you encounter bring sadness, pain, and misery. I've met a lot of people who know a lot of things, but I've encountered very few who have come to know themselves. I'll repeat that and turn the volume up for the people in the back. I've met a lot of people who know a lot of things, but I've encountered very few who have come to the realization of knowing themselves. We like to reflect on everything and everybody, but we will seldom reflect on ourselves. As Bob Marley said in one of his songs, you're running and you're running and you're running away. You're running and you're running and you're running away. You're running and you're running, but you can't run away from yourself. Can't run away from yourself. You see, this is what is the problem in society today. And we find different coping mechanisms, or we cause be put into place different means of being able to run away from ourselves. We run away from ourselves through addictions. We run away from ourselves through different emotions of anger, emotions of depression, sadness. the emotions of happiness, pleasure. We try to escape. We try to escape having those one-on-one conversations with ourselves, but we are ready to conversate and have long talks with human beings, people outside of ourselves. I like time alone. I may not like me, but I have to get to know me. That's what President Abraham Lincoln said. He, I may be quoting it, a little different, but he said he may not like himself, but he got to get to know himself. And I find that to be very true. A lot of us don't like ourselves. We live in self-hatred. We are our own worst enemies. In Islam, they talk about different forms of jihad. We talk about jihad akbar, jihad nafsi, and jihad nafsi is the fighting against your nafs. What are the nafs? Your desires, your inclinations. Isn't it ironic that we can spot that speck in someone else's eye, but we are not able to spot the speck that is in our own eye? This is why I spend a considerable amount of time spotting the speck that is in my eye, rather than looking for the speck in someone else's eye. I'm not a hater. I don't spend time hating on people. I don't spend time looking for people's faults, realizing that I have my own faults. I don't spend time blaming others when I have the control to create my own future and destiny. I don't spend time belittling someone just to make myself feel better. Because that's what you're actually doing. When you put somebody down, you're actually trying to make yourself feel better. You're actually trying to make yourself be a big man, a big woman. And the only thing that does is reduces you to a small ant. That's the only thing that does. Don't be afraid of looking in the mirror. It's only going to reflect back what's before it. And if you don't like what the mirror reflects back to you, then what is your next course of action? It's time for you to change. Simple. It's time for you to change. People don't like to change. They become comfortable, even though they know that comfortability is really not taking them anywhere. This is what they have become accustomed to. So they become comfortable in whatever that they call comfortability. They become comfortable in that. Change is a good thing. Change takes us out of our comfort zone, forces us to grow, forces us to encounter different realities, teaches us how to adapt. Change is a good thing. It helps us to evolve, especially if you change for the better. Now, I'm not talking about devolving. I'm talking about evolving. If it changes, helps you, positive change helps you to evolve, not devolve. So when you see change, don't get all bent out of shape. And we humans, we have a tendency to do that. I include myself. I see the grays coming on my eyebrows, the grays coming in my beard. You know, I remember when I was in my younger days, I was very strong, physically athletic. I was a bodybuilder. I used to lift weights. And as I see myself maturing, as I see myself growing younger, I don't like to change sometimes. You see, I don't like to change sometimes. But as long as I continue to grow, the change is inevitable. It's a part of the process. So I have to adapt that part of this reality. I have to adapt. I have to adapt and adopt this change that's taking place within my physical nature. If we take time and sincerely analyze our body, our ears, what we listen to, what we hear, what we allow to vibrate within our ears, is it good? Is it wholesome? Is it positive? Is it causing me to ascend higher? I'm talking about looking into the pool of reflection. Take the time to guard my eyes as to what I allow it to behold and see. There's a saying, some people's eyes is bigger than their stomach. Some people want everything they see. Everything they see, they want it. Everything you see is not necessarily good for you, even though it may appear be very appealing to the eyes. That's why it behooves us to learn how to lower our gaze or know how to turn away our eyes from looking upon certain things We need to regulate our nostrils, what we smell. Examine well with the sense of smell what we consume. This is what our nostrils are for. Also, being able to use them adequately in meditation. Breathing process. Being connected to the breath of life. Use your nostrils to examine well different energies that permeate around us sometimes. Knowing how to bridle the tongue, keeping the mouth closed. Because some of us, we talk entirely too much. We don't know when to stop talking. There's nothing wrong with talking, but at least when you talk, say something with meaning. Say something that's going to bring about enlightenment to someone. Just don't sound like the empty wagon that's making unnecessary noise. This is what happens to you when you just talk unnecessarily, continually over and over and over, repetitively, repeating the same thing, repeating the same jargon. There's a saying, I never knew you was a fool until you open your mouth. When you open your mouth, you remove uh, any you remove any doubt whether this person is intelligent or whether they actually do have wisdom. Once you open your mouth, learn how to take that key and lock that mouth. The key to the ivory box is the tongue. You don't unlock and open that up anyhow. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu said a man should think at least 7 times before he speak. 7. This is why we are given 2 ears and 1 mouth. We should listen twice as much as we speak. But nowadays, with AI, social media, computers, digital technology, that's all we do is talk. We talk from sun up to sundown. We talking. This is why there's a lot of chaos in the world today, right now, because people don't know how to zip it up, don't know how to close their mouth. I'm talking about the pool of reflection. I'm talking about reflecting on self. We can reflect on everybody else. We can see everybody else. But for some strange reason, we always keep jumping over ourselves. I'm talking about the 9 gates. The 9 gates, that whosoever masters the 9 gates is worthy to be called a king or queen. I'm talking about self mastery. I'm talking about people who have come to know themselves so that they may come to know God. That's what this poem is talking about. If you don't know yourself, you take right to be wrong. If you don't know yourself, people can put a label on you, and you will identify with that label and say, yeah, that's me. If you don't know yourself, people will think for you. People will think for you and assert your authority and power. Why? Because you don't know yourself. And a lot of that is going on in the world today. But I am I am hopeful. I am hopeful, and I do see a change taking place. I do see a change taking place with the consciousness awareness of people nowadays. People want to know more about consciousness. People are not concerned about religion, religious dogma. People are not concerned with religious dogma now. I don't care who get mad with me, who don't like what I'm saying, live with it. People do not too much care about religious dogma because they see too many irregularities in it. In it, they realize that the math ain't math. Now you can get mad. I don't care if you get mad with me. I'm just gonna tell you straight up. People want to know about consciousness, God consciousness, source consciousness. People want to know about their spirit soul, where they came from and how they got here. And what is their purpose for being here? People want to step back into their power as supreme beings, not slaves, not slaves, but supreme beings. They want to step back into their power as supreme beings. But anyway, not to get off the topic, but it is a part of the topic. Because we are supreme beings in minute form. We are atomic conscious atoms. And we are a minute form of that the supreme divine spark. But when you don't know yourself, become out of balance, become imbalanced, become imbalanced. And we see a lot of imbalance in the world today. We see imbalance in the so-called spiritual religious dogmas. We see imbalance in the legal systems. We see imbalance in the government arena. We see imbalance in the social affairs of humanity. We see imbalance in the economic affairs of society. We see a lot of imbalance. And the reason there's such a prevalent amount of imbalance is because the majority of us are out of touch with self. Get back in touch with yourself. Reflect. I tell people all the way, if you want to improve yourself, if you want to reach that goal, if you want to become that millionaire, that billionaire, if you want to write that book, if you want to become that great movie star, if you want to become that great musical star, if you want to become the president, whatever it is you wish to become or achieve, if you want to be able to do these things, you have to be able to deal with isolation. You have to be able to know how to steal away. I tell you this all the time. If you don't know how to steal away, you're not going to be able to be successful in these areas. Just ask around. The most successful people in this world, they live a lonely, isolated life. And there's a method to the madness. Because when you are in isolation, that's when the downloads can come to you. But if you're around a whole lot of different energies, a whole lot of commotion, a whole lot of negative energy, a whole lot of energy vampires, the downloads are sometimes blocked. They are impeded from reaching you because of all of these different energies. So steal away. All of the prophets did it. All of the Nabis, they went into isolation. They went into the mountains, into the caves, out into the desert, so they can get in touch and be able to hear their higher voice, which is source. So I hope this poem uh, has touched someone, and I hope I said something that will be beneficial to you, that will you'll be able to carry far into the future. And until the next time, I enjoyed you all, and until next time, God bless you. Bye bye.